hominids, various hominid taxa were appearing, at these times there was a huge influx of new species of carnivores. And there were far more carnivores around with our unfortunate early ancestors than there are around with us today.
There is ample evidence that early Homo, as well as eating meat, became meat. Moving onto the grasslands was probably forced upon early humans, but they began to gain the upper hand. The brain started to grow. This small brain belonged to an early plant eater. In contrast, this early meat eater grew nearly twice as big, while the extinct plant eater, robustus, remained small. The human brain consumes more energy than any other part of the body. Perhaps the high protein content of meat helped it to grow. Certainly, early humans needed their brain to help them survive and to live cooperatively.
Meat eating and brain expansion go hand in hand. One supports the other. If some hominin lineages had not begun to eat meat in a more significant way, then we could perhaps use the example of the robust Australopithecines as an explanation for where that might have led. They became extinct by 1 million years ago. So in a real sense, I think you could say with some qualifications, meat is what made us human.
Other human species continue to appear and disappear in Africa, and each time their brains grew even larger. One of our immediate ancestors, Homo erectus, had a brain larger than its predecessor. Homo erectus migrated out of Africa and spread to various parts of Asia. Their descendants traveled to Indonesia to become Java men. Then they reached China and became the Peking man. But both became extinct. Homo sapiens appeared about 200,000 years ago, and finally we made our first appearance on the family tree. Our brain had grown the largest of all surviving humans. It wasn't just acquiring a large brain which allowed us to survive. Another species had an equally large brain, the Neanderthals. They appeared about 300,000 years ago. Their brain size was exactly the same as ours. In body height, they were also about the same, but slightly more robust. Neanderthals migrated to Europe in the middle of the Ice Age. They were a hardy race as well as being good hunters. But they are now gone from the miracle planet, and we remain. From archaeological evidence, it seems that both Neanderthal and Homo sapiens shared very similar abilities. In this part of southwestern France, there are many Neanderthal sites. The Réjourdu prehistoric site was discovered by chance while the landowner was digging in his garden. There are Neanderthal remains here from 70,000 years ago. Dr. Jean-Michel Geneste has researched this site. He knows that the Neanderthals had the technical ability to make and use tools.
Les données que nous avons sur l'outillage de l'homme d'un Néandertal montrent qu'il y avait à la fois des outils qui étaient très spécialisés et qui ne servaient qu'à racler la peau, et qu'à côté de cela, ils avaient des outils un petit peu à tout faire, selon les moments, et qui servaient à couper les tendons, à faire de la boucherie, aussi à racler les peaux, et pourquoi pas aussi à tailler un bâton pour faire un épieu. Donc il avait une gamme d'outils très adaptée à ses besoins.
They hunted the large bison that roamed Europe during the Ice Age. Their sites are found all across the continent. Their population may have reached 500,000. Everything seemed set for success. Dr. Geneste even believes that they were capable of thoughts similar to ours. The skeleton of this Neanderthal is exactly as it was found. Perhaps evidence that they had thoughts of some afterlife and buried their dead. The two different species of humans seemed so similar, but what gave us the edge? There's an intriguing theory that might provide an answer. Dr. Jeffrey Laitman of New York's Mount Sinai School of Medicine compared the two skulls and then noticed a minor difference in the shape.
Find groups like Neanderthals, and when you study the bottom of skull meat,
It was at the base of the skull. With Neanderthals, the central part of the base is flat, but in the modern human skull, it is rounded. The difference corresponded to the upper side of the throat, where the larynx or voice box is situated. The two species had their larynx at different levels. The Neanderthal is on the left, modern humans on the right.
the flatness of their skull base tells us their larynx would be up much higher, and that their overall vocal tract would be very different than that which you find in living human beings. This tells us that Neanderthals could not speak the way we speak today.
When the larynx is in a high position, the distance from the mouth to the vocal tract is short. We let our voices resonate in the vocal tract. With a short vocal tract, Neanderthals would be limited.
The general ambience would be different. According to some linguists, they probably couldn't make certain of what we call the quantal vowel sounds, the ones we call in English oo, ah, e, the sounds in boot, father, or feet. It's highly unlikely that Neanderthals could make them, and with the same speed that we do. The hallmark of our kind is our ability to have fully articulate speech. This is what sets us apart from all other animals, and this is what set us apart from Neanderthals.
Modern science now has the technology to investigate down to the molecular level. Drs. Simon Fisher and Cecilia Lai of the Wellcome Trust Centre in England have identified a gene that is involved